Hello and welcome along to Mondo Chelloveck Movies. My name is John, and this video is going to be my thoughts on 3 years on YouTube. Now, this is no script, it's just me. I don't even know what I'm going to talk about, but I'm just going to sort of go off on one for 15 to 20 minutes and see what comes out. On another separate video, I'm going to take you behind the scenes of Mondo Chelloveck Movies. I'm going to talk to you about how I set this up, how I do the videos. I'm going to talk about, you're going to get a bit of behind the scenes, where I sit, where I look, what I use to film my videos. It's very low budget in my eyes, and I think that if I can do it, anybody can do it. And I just think you just need that extra push to do it, and the push is in yourself. It's all about believing in yourself and thinking, right, I'm going to do this and just see where it goes. I started YouTube 3 years ago, and it was after a year and a half of thinking, will I, won't I? So I did do that, and it was the best thing I ever did. I've had a ball on YouTube. I think YouTube is what you make it. I think the secret of YouTube is not to get caught up in YouTube, if that makes any sense. You want to come on, you want to put your videos out, you want to do it to the best of your ability. And says me, fluffing my words. I fluff my words all the time, and I rely on my editing software to get rid of all the problems and the messes that I put into my videos. So that's another thing for that other video. And I think that when you start off, you don't know anything. You don't know anybody on this. You probably know a few channels to look at. And, rest assured that you will start talking to these channels and you will become friends with these channels. And that's crazy to think that someone you've talked to for years, maybe in comments, does actually know about you and talks to you back. It's quite a revelation, actually, where you can get in touch with. It's a like-minded people scenario, isn't it? Everyone talks about the fact that when you go, and if you're out in the wild and you talk to somebody in the street and say, "Hey, guess what I got?" They'll probably run away from you, thinking you're a bit of a crackpot. But on here, you can talk about anything you want, and people are interested in anything you want because people might think that these things are the best things since sliced bread. The average Joe, when you see them in the street, would not even think twice about these. In fact, some people would look at this and think it was the most preposterous idea you could ever do. But I would look at somebody else's maybe collection of maybe car parts and think, well, what's all that about? But each to their own. And everybody has their thing that they're into. And it just so happens that probably you who are watching this are into your physical media or like CDs, vinyl, that type of thing. You're a bit of a collector of the sort of the entertainment side of things. So anyway, 3 years ago, I started my channel and I thought, right, where's it? Well, I didn't know what I was thinking. I just put it out. And of course, you're so nervous to think, like, how's it going to get received? So everybody, when they first start a channel, are really nervous. And anybody who says they're not is a bit of a liar in my eyes. Because I remember thinking all these sort of things, oh, this will happen, that'll happen, this will happen. And none of it's happened. And to be honest, I don't really think about it in them sort of ways anymore. In fact, I stopped thinking about that maybe after the first couple of months. And just know that this is, I keep saying it, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. What you do is you just put yourself out there and whatever happens, happens. And I know that when I first started off, I got some great shout outs from some great channels, and it really brought me to the attention of people. I think it's the kind of getting to the attention of people is the hard part of YouTube. YouTube, as a sort of business, they would like to get you make the best ever video ever, best ever viral video. They get loads of money and they give you some money. Well, when you get to 1,000 subscribers and a certain amount of hours viewing time, which I think is poor because if somebody who's got maybe 10 subscribers and they put out the most magnificent video, YouTube will get all the money off that because don't forget, YouTube puts adverts on anything they want to. It's got nothing to do with you. If you're 999 subscribers, they will put stuff on your channel if they think that your videos are going to go somewhere. That's the way it is, which I think is a bit of a shame. I think anybody who puts a video out that gets any sort of views, well, any views at all, should get a certain percentage of what YouTube make if they put a advert on it. But that's probably one for a different story. There's going to be a lot of videos coming out of this one. When I first started out, in my mind, I was going to make loads of videos about music. Well, that didn't really happen. But since I've got my studio, and it is a studio, it's not a garage, since I've got that back at sort of some normality, and it's going to get tidied up very soon, and I'm going to be going there and recording some stuff, and I'm probably going to make some videos of me recording stuff as well. I'm really interested in that. If you could have thought, what did I plan with it for this channel? the whole recording and writing music and showing how easy it is to do it and actually put it out there. I wanted to do that, and I haven't got, well, I haven't had the space or the time to do that, but I will sort of start to feature them things. And I had my comics as well. That sort of went by the by, but it means I have to read the comics before I can sort of talk about them. I just haven't got the time. Time is your biggest enemy on YouTube, I find. If you've got loads of times, because don't forget when I started out, it was the sort of lockdown. So you had all the time in the world and you could do anything. Well, you had nothing else to do. So it was a great time to start. But since life gets to where it is, it's life comes back to sort of sort you out and say, no, you've got to do other things. You find it's harder to get the spare time to make the things that you want to make. But it doesn't matter because, like I say, this is a marathon, not a sprint. I've got plenty of time to do this. So maybe I can't do the music videos yet, but they will come. And also the comics, I want to get back in the comics things, but that will come down the line. And I think it's important not to take too much on because if you take, oh, I'm going to do this, and this, you set yourself up a little bit to fail, if I'm honest, because you give yourself a impossible deadline. And if you're thinking about, I'm going to start a series about this, or do this, I mean, I could have sort of said, right, I'm doing music, comics, Blu-rays, 4Ks. I could have put the whole lot in like a series and then thought I'm massively behind. So I'm glad I didn't do that. I was going to do that when I first started, but I'm really glad that I kind of didn't get the chance to do that. And I'm so glad that I can take my time with those things because if I wanted to move this channel into more sort of music stuff, then that's my prerogative. Remember, if you start a channel, it's your channel. You can do whatever you want with it. It doesn't matter what anybody thinks about it. It just matters what you think about it. And if you like it, and if you're happy with what you're putting out, and then maybe it gets to a certain few people, maybe some people are really into the music, but not into anything else. It doesn't really matter. It's about connecting in the way that you want to connect. If I connect with, say, 50 people who are really into their music stuff, that's great because that's 50 people. Imagine walking down the street and moving into 50 people and saying, "Hey, I make songs." How's that going to go? But if you're on here and you can talk to 50 people about, say, if you've got 50 people in the street and they were all going, "Oh, that's great. Tell me more." You think, "Wow." But you can get that online. That's what I'm trying to say. So your audience is out there waiting for you. And if you've got something to talk about, and you can talk about anything on here, it doesn't mean to say that you've got to be ultra knowledgeable. Haven't got to know everything about everything. You haven't got to know the specs of everything. It's not about that. I think it's about if you are generally interested in what you're talking about and you've got a bit of history behind it and say, oh well, this happened to me and that's happened to me. I think that's engages with a lot of people. And I know that I don't really look at me analytics at all. In fact, I rarely look at them because that's a bit of a rabbit hole you can get into and you think, well, analytics are saying this, but I think the analytics are something that shouldn't even be there because really all you want to know is, are your videos doing all right? And if they are, great. So remember, at the end of the day, it's your channel. Put out what you want to put out and it will find its viewers, whether that be 1 million viewers or 10. It doesn't matter because if I'm thinking, see the music, I want to tell somebody about what's the best way to sort of record the music and what's the sort of the best arrangement to have of that song. Whether this song would sound better being a punk song, a slow song, a melodic song. It's the same chords in that. And I want to say this is how I would think in my mind that this song should sound. Now, I'm very interested in that. I love record producing, although I would love to be one, but imagine that. But it's something I look at. It's something I'm very much a fan of when I'm listening to music. I always listen to the production values of the music. I've been doing that for since the 80s. I'm very much interested in 80s production, how it sounded so good, coming from punk, which sounded like dirt, which I love as well, low budget, lo-fi, the whole thing, and going to music that's like really well produced. It sounds like pristine. When CDs come out, I was blown away by the quality. Things like the first ever CD I got was Terence Trent D'Arby, and I just loved the production of that. I love the production of Level 42, stuff like that. So that's a huge thing that I would love to talk about. Now, if I come onto this channel, which is like more to do with movies, it seems that's the way it's went. It might be one that not wouldn't be appeal to much people, but it would still appeal to some people. So that's what I'm trying to say. Whatever you want to do, it's your platform, and go ahead and do it. It's never going to It's never going to change who you are. It's never going to make you think that I wouldn't say, oh, I put that on about music and it's went, you know, viral. I'm going to do that all the time. I don't think you should do that. I think you should do whatever you want to do. At the moment, I love doing what I'm doing with the videos. And sometimes when time's against you, like live streams, the time's been against me for about 6 or 7 months now. It wasn't easy to do at the end of the year live streams because I didn't have much time the day after to recuperate. And you do need that. I mean, I'm not getting any younger. So I think that when I want to do a live stream, I've got to think about the next day and the next day. How am I going to recover from these live streams? Because when you get up in the morning and you've done a long, like 8, 9 hour live stream, and you get up in the morning, you feel like you've had 100 pints and you've got it's like a hangover. And so what I'm going to say is at the moment, the streams, due to work are going to be shorter, but I don't want to do a live stream because I think it's a great way to talk to people. It's amazing to see have a like sort of real life, real time chat with people that you see in your comments, and you talk to them in your comments. But it's a different ball game. It's great to have a talk with other channels that you've looked at for maybe 2 or 3 years and you haven't actually physically talked to, and you feel like you know them, but you haven't physically spoke to them. It's great meeting people as well. Now, everybody knows that, well, if someone said to me, what's your favorite video you've ever done on your channel? I will always say it's the social anxiety one. It's the one that I had the best time with. It's one that I needed to make. I wanted to make. I couldn't have done it on my first video because people would have probably thought, what's this? Supposed to be talking about movies and talking about that. So I wanted people to get to know me first before I talked about social anxiety. Now, about 2 months ago, I watched my social anxiety video for the first time in a while. And I thought, has anything changed? And at that time, I thought, I don't think anything's really changed. So I can't really talk about like follow up to that. But looking back on it in reflection, I think a lot of things have changed. So what I might do is in the forthcoming weeks or months, I'll do like a follow-up video to that to see, well, basically how YouTube has helped me to be more sociable. That's what it is. And as anybody knows who saw that video, it's a real problem I've got just with social interaction. Basically, see people and somebody comes up to you and says, are you on the YouTube?" Things like that. So you know that people are looking at you because they think you're that person. And it's, to be honest, if someone had told me at the start of this, people will recognize you in the street and they'll come up and talk to you, I would have probably thought, I'm not going to do that. And I would have ditched it. But looking back on it, I quite enjoy it now. And when people come up, I don't really go that red. But I used to go red, and I went red a couple of times when I first saw the first people I bumped into. But at the moment, when I'm seeing people now, I can kind of just be, well, normal, I'm going to say. And by normal, I just mean that I just don't go red or appear to be someone who's kind of anxious to meet somebody. I think that's a huge jump for me. And so anyway, I'll go into that on like a social anxiety in me part two. So that's something that I do think is like I would never even thought that when I come on here, hey, this is going to cure my social anxiety. I don't think anything will cure that fully, but I do think that what is happening is it's helping me in a way. And it's funny because I haven't got any problems. I haven't got any problems with anything else. It's just the whole meeting people, it's a big thing. When I put that video out, a lot of people empathize with that and says, "Well, I can see what you're saying in that one. It's a bit like me." I thought it was originally just me, but it's a lot of people. But it's not a thing that a lot of people can explain that well. Anyway, that'll be for a different video. Hey, there's loads of these different videos, isn't there? But anyway, so back to the 3 years. I can honestly say I've had a great time on here. I've met so many good people. I don't really want to talk about who they are because obviously I'll miss people off. I don't want to do that. I could be on for a full video reeling people's names off, but you know who you are. And I have great chats with people on Instagram. If you want to get in touch with me and have a chat, for instance, just get in touch on Instagram, Warren Peace 666. That's where I'm most of the times. And I get a lot of messages on there, so I've got to kind of prioritize them. I'll get back to you on that. Same with the comments on the videos. They can be quite long, they can be quite hard to get through them, but I try and get through them the best I can. And I will try and get back to them. And to be honest, sometimes, and I'm pointing this because my phone's there, when you go to your comments, a lot of them can kind of disappear or they can kind of change. I think YouTube is really weird for comments. I can go and see a comment, I'll think, oh, I'll go back and answer that. When I go back to answer it, it'll say, this comment is no longer available. And I think, oh, why is that? So there's a lot of things, and if I was going to come on here and tell you, oh, this is the key to YouTube. If you do this and do this, you'll get this, you get this. Nobody, it's funny, you would think that the channels would know that. Nobody knows that. I don't know what YouTube thinks about in the general sort of way that they do it. If you had, well, if I made a video explaining the algorithm of YouTube, it would get 1 trillion views in an hour, but nobody can do that. And these videos that say, "Oh, do this and you'll get a bazillion subscribers," they're just rubbish. There's no way on earth that you can plan for that. It just happens. So whatever happens to your channel will happen. Let it happen organically. Let it grow. Let it do what it has to do. Don't ever think that it should be doing something when it's not. If you say, "Well, hang on, it doesn't go that way," it's just going to take longer. Or, "Wow, this has happened." And how did that happen? You say, well, you probably won't even know how that happened. Sometimes you can get these influx of views, and you think, why is that? Why is that video being so popular when you think it's not going to be, and it is. So someone said, well, why did that happen? And you always answer, I haven't got a clue. So if you're going to explain the whole algorithm, which whatever that is, about how these things work, I don't think anybody with a channel could actually tell you that because it's kind of like a mystery. I don't know why YouTube do that. They give you loads of facts and figures. And actually, when you look at them, they don't really make sense. And you say a bit hours watched or this happened. You've got like 0.2. A good one is how many people watch your video from different countries, and you've got 3.2 people are watching it from Peru. You think who's the point two? Who's point two of a person is someone's foot? But anyway, I do think that if you do sort of challenge, don't get mixed up in the figures. It's a kind of a fool's errand really, because you look at it and you think, oh well, I'm going to do this, this, and this. This is telling me to do this. This is telling me to do it. Don't take any notice because I don't even think YouTube know what it's talking about. But that's a little bit of the thing about the figures. To be honest, I mean, I can make a whole video about the figures and the facts and figures, but really, I can sort of do that whole video now by saying I don't understand it. I don't think I'll ever will understand it. I don't really want to understand it because I don't think it actually is a thing. A lot of people talk about it, and there's definitely something in YouTube that makes the videos. I mean, I get recommendations on my telly where I watch my videos of the maddest things that I think, how on earth is that getting to me? And sometimes the same video, which I don't want to see, is on there for months, and you think, what's that? I don't even know I don't even want to know how do you make a pair of socks from plastic bags? I don't know. The most inane drivel. But anyway, getting back to what we're doing, physical media. I do think, and I've rabbited on for 23 minutes, I do think that this platform for me is the best platform I can be on. I love me films, as you can see. I love me music as well. My music wants to take a bit more of a centre stage. I do think that I'll be doing the stuff in the garage, studio, a lot quicker than I thought it would be. So yeah, I might make separate videos for that. It's a funny thing if you ask me if you ever met us and say, right, explain to me about the whole ins and outs of YouTube. I'll probably say to you, I don't understand. You probably know as much as you do, and that's the funniest thing about coming on YouTube. You think at the start you're going to learn all these sort of secrets. Well, not secrets, but like do's and don'ts. But well, if they do exist, I would love to find a person who actually knows how they exist, because I think it's just some robot sitting in a room, a bit like Hal from 2001, just going a bit strange and a bit insane in space. And that's the one making all these algorithms up. Anyway, so this has been a bit of a ramble, hasn't it? Like, I told you I hadn't got a clue where this was going to go. But the short story is that I love this channel. I love everything about it. I love doing this when it's time permitting. I love interacting with everybody. I love meeting people, which is something I would have never thought I would ever say. I mean, I'm getting in touch with people and say, do you want to meet up? Which is good in a way, isn't it? It's why not? And at the end, when you meet the person, you've got the like-minded experience of saying, right, let's go around, look around the shelves, let's talk about this thing. Let's talk about anything, let's look at this movie, let's see what movies on the shelves, which is not something you can do you can't just go up to somebody in HMB and say, "Can I just talk to you about these shelves for a bit?" They'll probably run away. Although maybe they might not, but it's a bit of a risk, isn't it? You don't want to get locked up just because you want to start a YouTube channel, do you? Anyway, I'm getting off topic, and hopefully this has been a bit of an insight. It might not explain too much, and when I probably put this back to put it on the YouTube channel, I'll probably think, what was all that about? But do know from this, there is going to be another couple of videos. It's going to be a social anxiety follow-up video, which I'm interested in doing, because the first one I really enjoyed because it was straight from the heart, basically. There was no like me sort of thinking too much about it. I just went in, just went bang, and just said the whole lot in one go, which is unusual for me. But saying that, I've done the same thing here. So it shows you that I've got a lot to say in the subject. And if you do start a channel, I'm going to do a separate video to tell you how to sort of, do it the easiest way possible. Start yourself off easy. Don't think you've got to learn everything about editing, everything about music, copyright, all that type of thing. Don't even think about it. Just start off low budget. I mean, mine's low tech. You hardly ever see any special effects on my videos. I'd love to know how to do that. As I said, the hardest thing about YouTube is actually starting up. It does take a while to get seen by whoever, and I do blame that on the algorithm because it just wants to make money, really, doesn't it, for YouTube? And it's a big sort of corporate thing. It is what it is. I mean, it's a good service for me because I can do what I want to do on it to a certain extent. I do find that I watch my P's and Q's when it comes to certain, subjects you talk about and also music. Actually, funny enough, I've been thinking about it and I haven't done it yet, but I will do it. I don't have much to do with Facebook these days because I find it, I've got the comments on here, I've got emails, get a lot of emails, and also Instagram. If I did a lot of stuff on YouTube, I do go on YouTube every now and again. Sorry, Facebook, but I find it was too time consuming for me. But what I want to do is I've got a few videos that I would love to do on here, but I know full well they get a copyright strike immediately, or they will get a copyright strike eventually. And don't forget, you get 3 of them, you're off. You've got no right to reply. And I don't want that to happen. So I will be putting, because Facebook doesn't seem to mind that, but I will be putting these copyright strike videos, mainly to do with music. You'll see what it means if, on my page or Mondo Chelloveck page, which I hardly ever put anything on, but I'll probably put them in the Mondo Rock channel. That's on Facebook as well. So yeah, so well, I don't know where I am now. So to recap, please, if you're thinking about getting a YouTube channel, do get one. Know that you're going to have fun with it. It is what it is. Be positive about it. Don't be negative. So you'll never find a negative on my channel. That's for sure. I might say to you one time, I bought this movie here and I didn't like it at all. That's about as far as I go. There's no reason for me to be negative. There's no reason for anyone to be any negatives because what's the point? Well, I'm not about that. I'm not about listening to negative stuff. I just want to hear positive stuff. It's great. I think doesn't affect you, but if you've got negativity in your life, it's just not good for you. And I don't do that. I've never done that, and I never will do that. So that's a bit of like my philosophy on this, and it's a good philosophy to have because if you go on the negative side, I don't think anything goes well for you, personally speaking. And that's why I want to keep it light, I want to keep it fun, and want to keep it just the way it is. And I just plod on doing what I'm doing, and I have a really good time doing that. So, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Please keep an eye out for them. Other videos going to come up. I don't know when, but quite interested to talk about them now. Actually, when I mention it, if you do want to hear, I don't know if anyone wants to hear because I've probably said about now about what I think about algorithms and facts and figures on here. I don't know if anyone would want to hear that because really I've kind of said it on here. I think it's a bit of mumbo jumbo, if I'm honest. I don't think that I ever think, oh, that's the thing. And if you say to somebody, why does that happen on YouTube? Any YouTuber, they all go, I don't know. And they come to me and they say, have you had an experience with that? Did you think that happened? I says, I've got a clue. So you might save yourself a bit of time when you're starting your channel, not to rack your brains with all these mumbo jumbo statistics, because to be honest, I think that's what they are. I don't look at them, I don't understand them, and I don't really want anything to do with them. All I know is that things are good, things are going well, and I'm happy. And if I'm happy, the channel is happy, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. What else would you come in here for? So, thanks again for watching. You take care. and I will see you on the next video, whatever that is. Cheers.